So this is an interesting development. Of course, we have long been covering the fact that it is insanely corrupt that members of Congress can trade stock with regard to companies that are directly impacted by the actions that they are taking as members of Congress, by inside information that they are receiving as members of Congress. There's been a big nationwide swell of grassroots bipartisan support to do something about this obviously insane situation. The issue had kind of fallen off the table. Every once in a while, one of the parties would pick it up, and Kevin McCarthy, when he was running for speaker, was before Republicans even got the majority, was like, oh yeah, we'll pass a stock trading ban. When I'm Speaker of the House, though, we didn't hear anything about it. Nancy Pelosi did like a fake effort and inserted a poison pill to make sure it didn't pass. Well, we have a new effort, and it's being spearheaded by two very unlikely allies, Matt Gaetz and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Also, they have bipartisan, problem solvers, caucus centrist type people who are involved in this effort as well. Gaetz was asked about his decision to work with AOC, someone he is very ideologically opposed to, and he had an interesting response. Take a listen to this.
AOC is wrong a lot. She'd probably say the same thing about me, but she's not corrupt. And I will work with anyone and everyone to ensure that Congress is not so compromised. We should disallow congressional stock trading for the same reason we don't allow the referee to bet on the game. And this is not a small amount of money. $788 million worth of securities traded by members of Congress last year. About 1 in every 4 members of Congress is doing this, and it's not exactly like I'm elected with a bunch of Gordon Geckos and Bobby Axelrods. Take Lois Frankel, who you just mentioned. Yeah. She's been a lawmaker since I was 5 years old. And I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden she's making moves like she's Warren Buffett?
Yeah. And we're about to talk about Lois Frankel specifically and what he's referring to.
Made a good point.
But, you know, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised that Gaetz is willing to work with AOC. I'm a little surprised that AOC is willing to work with Gaetz.
Shocked.
I mean, I'm glad to see it, but I am a little surprised by it.
I'm shocked that she's willing to do it, but the details of the bill itself are actually quite good. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen around the actual bill to ban these lawmakers from owning stocks. What it would do is called the Bipartisan Restoring Faith in Government Act. It's also sponsored by Brian Fitzpatrick and Raja Krishnamurthy, who's another Democrat. And where they're coming to is one of the more stringent prohibitions on members, spouses, and any dependents from owning individual stocks, making trades, requiring all members or covered family members who currently own any individual stocks to divest or place them in a completely qualified blind trust. Even I personally have issues with the blind trust thing, but it's one of those where, you know, willing to compromise. We can get to an actual qualified blind trust, even as fake as some of those can be.
It's going to be monumentally difficult to get a majority of members of Congress to agree to this because they are, many of them, profiting royally off of the inside information that they hold, and they are going to be loath to give up their ability to, what was that Crenshaw said, better themselves.
Yeah, you got to better yourself.
Better themselves.
No opportunity to better yourself.
And to go that extra mile and do what I think should be done, which is they should all have to divest their holdings completely and none of this qualified blind trust thing. I think we have to live in the realm of political reality that would be impossible to accomplish. That's unfortunate, but that is reality. So I think accepting some sort of compromise, qualified blind trust situation here is the best we can possibly hope for. I would love to see, you know, once we get more details on the bill, I'd love for someone who's a subject matter expert to look into, because not all qualified blind trusts are created equal. So what are the specifics of those provisions and how much teeth does it have? I think that's a really important point. But we also had some news this week that underscores why this is so important. As they were referring to in that Matt Gaetz segment, put this next piece up on the screen, Democratic Congresswoman Lois Frankel. She sold First Republic stock before the takeover and the collapse and bought J.P. Morgan stock. And of course, J.P. Morgan Chase ends up being the massive beneficiary of this collapse because they get a sweetheart deal from the government to take over First Republic Bank. So looks like a really intelligent, just insightful, prescient, eerily prescient trade that Frankel was able to make here, Saagar.
These guys are, I mean, they're just so shameless about their action. As, you know, as Matt said, like, this is somebody who has been in Congress for literally decades. And what I always just come back to with all of them is, how is it not enough? Like, why is it not enough to just sit with your personal finances. I just looked it up. She's worth $2.5 million. That's plenty of money. If you want to make more money, you can leave Congress, but it's never enough for them. You know, she's literally been in the House of Representatives for decades. That's another question. How exactly do you become a millionaire when you're a House of Representative? And she's somebody who's long been on the list of trading in companies that have been influenced directly by their committees. You know, a household, or what should be some sort of household name, but is such a common activity that we have to only call it out in extraordinary times. And that's what I think is sick about it.
When you see this one where you're like, come on.
Yeah, you're like, come on.
Really?
Come on now.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's always important to underscore, when you look at the overall numbers, do you really believe that these people are consistently beating the markets and doing better than, you know, people whose job it is to make these sorts of trades? No. So yeah, it is a disgraceful situation. I hope that this bipartisan effort picks up some steam. I'm really glad to see it moving forward, and we will certainly keep close track of it.
Yes, we certainly will. I hope that it goes somewhere, but you know, you never know whenever it comes to things like this. In fact, you do know, which is unfortunately every single effort has been quashed.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.